Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sri Herianingrum from Universitas Airlangga, East Java, Indonesia. Now I am presenting my paper entitled The Impact of Islamic Bank Financing on Business. Why this research is important? Introduction of this paper. Islamic Bank is implemented as an intermediary institution that serves to connect between parties who have surplus funds with those who need funds, such as employers, government, and household sector. Banking activities in the real sector is to channel financing to the business sector. Islamic bank are more oriented on real sector compared to conventional banks. Capital issues in Islamic economic perspective is very important. The capital is wealth that help generate further wealth. And Islamic banking in its efforts to boost the real sector can be seen in the data published by Bank Indonesia through Islamic banking statistic data published every month. Really, this Islamic bank as intermediary function undertaken here is expected to drive the real sector. A company needs efficient working capital to ensure then that their company's operation runs stable. Banking activities in the real sector is to channel financing to the business sector. Islamic banks are more oriented on real sector compared to conventional banks. Financing distribution activities will increase the venture capital sector. Capital issues in Islamic economic perspective is very important. The capital is wealth that helps generate further wealth encompassing everything that gives a personal satisfaction, but also helps generate more wealth. Capital is wealth obtained by the results of this own and then used to produce more wealth. Islamic banking in its efforts to boost the real sector can be seen in the data published by Bank Indonesia through Islamic banking statistic data published every month. Financing provided by Islamic bank based on the type of contract and then the data shows composition of financing channel by Syariah Commercial Bank and Syariah Business Units. The dominance of financing is in the financing of mudharabah, musyarakah, and murabahah. Islamic Financing and Commercial Bank of Islamic Business Unit in Indonesia. The growth shows the financing channels by the Islamic banking is more directed to small medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises are business actors that dominate the Indonesian economy. This is evidenced by its contribution in the gross domestic product (GDP) of about 34.34% and in absorbing labor about 97%. From data statistic of Islamic banking. This condition directly demonstrates the Syariah bank's alignment to small medium enterprises, and this is in accordance with the Islamic economic mission to combat poverty as evidenced by the strong resilience of SMEs in facing the economic crisis than the big industry. Islamic Bank's concern for lower middle class society can be seen in the improve of the financing. Is small medium enterprises financing that has doubles over non-SME financing shows that Islamic Bank commitment in providing financing to the small business sector. Islamic banking, in addition to still pay attention to profit, but must pay attention to aspects of benefits for the Ummah. So by channeling any financing type of contracts to the SME sector is a form of commitment of Syariah Bank, which must always be done consistently in moving the real sector in performing its function as an intermediary institution of Sharia. Small and medium enterprises is an essential sector for the national economy. This effort is one kind of effort that is easy to be done by the people, and the majority is driven in the family business. Thus, the small medium enterprises of an undesirable economic potential part to be ignored, especially when viewed from contribution in absorption of labor. The small medium enterprises can be relied upon. Business Tendency Index is an indicator of economic development efforts that the data obtained from the latest Business Tendency Survey conducted by Central Bureau of Statistics in collaboration with the Business Tendency Indonesia. Index bank is the fourth quarter means that business conditions improve from the previous quarter. Islamic bank financing is one of the important elements that support the running of business. Therefore, this study examines, is the business tendency affect the Islamic bank financing? And then, are there two mutually influential relationship between Sharia bank financing and business tendencies? And then, is there a long-term relationship between Sharia bank financing and business tendency? And finally, what is the impact of Sharia bank financing on business tendencies in Islamic economic reviews? Literature review from this paper. The first, the financing of Islamic bank without interest is oriented to the real sector so that the economy is healthier and more stable. And second, financing with profit sharing system works to increase economic expansion. Increased profit sharing means increased profits earned by the company, and increased profit means that the income of the entrepreneur increase. If this happens in aggregate, rising incomes will boost the economy of expansion in the form of rising investment, production, supply demand, and falling unemployment. More implicitly, the financing function of Islamic bank is as follows. The first, increase savings and financing, stabilizing prices, and then third, does not cause inflation, fourth, not causing an increase in the money supply, and five, positive impact on economic growth. The financing disbursed by the Islamic bank that is not determined by interest but with a profit sharing system is very helpful to entrepreneurs in maintaining the continuity of their business. And then methods of this research. Variable research is an object selected by researchers to study and draw conclusion from the variable studied. Variables used in the research are as follows. The first independent variables are variables that influence or variable causes, and then the independent variables in this research are banking syariah financing, which consists of mudharabah, musyarakah, and murabahah financing. And then dependent variable is not dependent or dependent variables. These variables are referred to as output variables criteria. Consequent in this research, the dependent variable used is business tendency. Okay, about the variable used in this research are as follows. The first independent variables are variables that influence or variable causes. The study variable used by researchers are the first bank syariah financing. Here is bank syariah financing consisting mudharabah, musyarakah, and murabahah financing. Data for bank syariah financing consisting of mudharabah, musyarakah, and murabahah financing obtained from statistics of syariah banking in the form of quarterly data. And then about variable business tendency. In general, this measure is often used as a measure to see or assess the business trends nationally, especially for medium and large business. The index that describes business and economic conditions in the current quarter and forecasts for the coming quarter. Data on business tendencies used from the Central Bureau of Statistics Indonesia that occurs in Indonesia within the period 2011-2014. The type of data used in this study is the secondary data ratio of time series data, which is a collection of observation within a certain time range. The quarterly time series data used in this research. We use model VAR, vector autoregression. That's development of the ADL, and the VAR model will be combines the VECM, vector error correction model methods, in addition to using in this analyze methods. And I will explain about result. Before the discussion, the results of this research by using VAR, variance decomposition, and impulse response function are generated to further assess the interaction relationship between variables, especially syariah bank financing proxy and business tendency. The result of this study test examines the relationship between causalitas Islamic bank financing and business tendency index in Indonesia. From the test results above can be concluded that business tendency index variable affect the syariah bank financing. And second, Islamic bank financing does not affect other variables, business tendency index. So there is one way causality from this business tendency index to syariah bank financing. This indicates that the increased business tendency will affect the performance of Islamic banks, because with conducive business conditions will improve the economy, will affect the public's ability to save and make requests for funds to bank, including Syariah banks. Okay, and then the result of subsequent statistic tests show that there is a long-term relationship between Syariah bank financing and business tendency. This is clarified by the result obtained from the Johansson co-integration test. The result of co-integration test in this research is there is a long-term relationship between Syariah bank financing and business tendency. Okay, and then about discussion. Research conducted shows that Syariah banks, as interest-free banks, the financing is directed to the real sector and is not allowed for investments that contains elements of interest and speculation. Similarly, from research Laila, states that established Syariah banking industry significantly contributes to the economy. The results of this study generally show, in the long run, the financing of Syariah banks that are represented through Mudarabah, Musyarakah, and Murabahah positively and significantly related to business tendency in Indonesia. This shows empirically that the existence of Islamic bank financing is not only theoretically and ideologically able to derive the activities of the economy of a country, but this theory can be proven empirically within the scope of banking and economic sectors in Indonesia. So the result of this study are also supported by findings Hesham McCoy, which states the importance of the Islamic banking industry in driving the economy. And similarly with Sulaiman research that states that the establishment of Syariah financial activities has created new investment opportunities and encourages people to do business. The absence of interest rates combines with the existence of other Islamic financial instruments such as zakat, infak, sodakoh. Chapra argue that Syariah economy can minimize speculative demand money and make the total demand for money in the economy become more stable. Zakat, infak, and sodakoh is like social finance in Islamic economics. Similarly, with me, Herianingrum and Shapriyatma research state that the IRF results explain that the interest rate channel has difficulties to achieve the macroeconomic targets, while Islamic monetary instruments indicate the potential for output growth and curb inflation. Through the results of this study also, Islamic bank financing has effectively played its role as an Islamic financial institution that facilitates the mobilization of business activities. Therefore, it can be said the government policy to develop Sharia banking or Islamic banking in Indonesia is considered effective during the development of Sharia banking sector, and business growth are strongly interconnected. Okay, finally, conclusion of this research or this paper, the result of this study indicate that there is a long-term relationship between bank syariah financing with business tendency. This shows that although the contribution of uh, bank syariah to the national economy is relatively small and the test results show no effect on business tendency, the characteristics of syariah bank or Islamic bank as interestless bank using profit sharing systems plus also other characteristic that does not permit to invest in speculation and system interest. The syariah bank will have a significant positive impact on the business tendency on the real sector. The findings of the research are among others that business tendency influences on syariah banks that and supported by other research results, which states the importance of the development of syariah bank because their characteristic and different from commercial bank is necessary to support its existence is proven to be able to move the real sector of variance. Okay, this is my presentation. Thank you very much. And akhirul kalam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.